Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion, place the Binding of Isaac AFTERBIRTH Plus. Feeling groovy, dude. No losses in a long time. Starting to work our way back to greatness. Tell you right by the size of the tiers I like the damage. 4.05, rate of fire, acceptable. Speed, acceptable. And, you know, the fact that we have two things that are acceptable, I would say is bad, as strange as that sounds. It'd be better if we just had maybe one stat, and then a single item could knock it out. But, 3 HP? Blasting Cap is the one. Is this the one I'm supposed to be afraid of? Or is this the one that's good? I can never remember, and I always get it twisted. Dogtooth, just leveling with you. Nobody's favorite damage upgrade, but it's not nothing. It's not nothing. Bomb Bag and a Spirit Heart, also extremely lucky. Ooh, this is a tough call. Secret Room? Wow. Wow. Secret Room or 2 stone chests and 5 cents? I am a fool. I am an idiot, actually. Fool would have been one step earlier. Now I'm full idiot status. Also, I'm even more of an idiot. Why would we use a bomb here? My subconscious knew. It started pushing this over. Well, I guess we can't get the shopkeeper there at the top, but that's fine. All that for not a whole heck of a lot. Yes, okay. So you will do this. We do have a Tinted Rock. I'm embarrassed that I lost the Spirit Heart there. But that's life, and life goes on. We're actually, like, super well equipped right now. If we could just get a modest tiers upgrade, I would never complain about anything in this game ever again. 5 cents for a bomb, I gotta tell you, that's pretty much market value. Nobody goes to Subway and goes $6.50 for a sandwich, get out of town, you know? We've all become accustomed to familiarity, the price of what Subway costs, and, you know, shouldn't be a surprise unless you're in, like, a foreign country or something like that. I'll admit, I feel like it depends on your age. You may feel two ways about Subway's recent prices. One is, you grew up having $5 footlongs, and now you're like, well, this is a ripoff. The other is, and I very rarely, and I'm not trying to glorify the Subway Corporation. Okay, there we go. Speed is bad, but everything else is good. We're back in the saddle. Before they were $5, they were more than $5. Usually prices scaled endlessly upwards. I remember, you know, I used to get Subway now and then. When I was in high school, it was in like my second year of college when they introduced the $5 footlong program. They made it cheaper, at least for a few sandwiches. And then eventually, after like 3 years of that, they were like, we can't keep doing this. So I'll give them credit where credit is due. That's all I'm trying to say. Not that the Subway Corporation needs my support or deserves it in any way, Doctors Associates. I'm just saying. I'll give them credit where credit is due. That's my remembrance, my memory of that situation at least. I'm not even going to use this on pin. It's unnecessary. We could actually do with a range upgrade. That doesn't happen that often. Placenta. I mean, here's the thing. 11 cents leaves us in Blood Bank territory. Blood Bank territory feels nice because we also have this Algiz rune. So we can be really, really confident that we have every available ability. Yo, I'm not going to take the other pill. It could be telepills. And I'm not going to take Guppy's head. I'm going to try to make the sprinkler work. Because I owe you a little bit of Zane. Anyway, we could be, if we find an arcade, we'll be reasonably confident we're going to get the payout, whatever it would be. So right now, I mean, absolutely nothing to complain about. Consumables are in an above average position. Be a great name for a video game themed band that I would never go to see, the Consumables. I don't have anything against video game music. You know, I don't know. I don't listen to it in my downtime that much. I will admit, though, I've got some nerdy stories. Awoo? Awoo, okay. I got some nerdy stories. We had the option to take music class instead of visual art class in high school. I took music class every day. I warmed up, practicing the clarinet. I practiced by playing Tifa's theme. composed by Uematsu-san from the Final Fantasy VII soundtrack. So don't think you're talking to somebody who's not a dork. I'm highly a dork. Zodiac. It's like, it's okay. I just, for whatever reason, you know, as I've got, I don't listen to a whole lot of music. I listen to basically like 3 things now. In my car is basically a classic rock playlist with a couple of hip-hop songs thrown in there. Aru? No Aru. When I study, it's either Aphex Twin, Selected Ambient Works 2, 85 to 92, or Brian Eno, Music for Airports, or why would I? The chest is something, but you knew that there couldn't have been a secret room there. Or it's youtube.com/24-hour chill lo-fi hip-hop beats to study to. Yes, I listen to lo-fi hip-hop to study to. Why? That's what it's there for. It says it right there in the title and the description. I can't believe we didn't get a blood bank. It's bad luck. It's especially bad luck because I could really use a speed upgrade, and I'm trying to think what we can get from the boss fight. I mean, obviously we just get a speed upgrade like the belt, but, you know, from a devil deal where it gets a little bit more interesting. We have Celtic Cross clearly right now. Another thing that would have made it awesome to have a blood bank. I love the damage and the shot speed compensates for our low range. I gotta be honest, this feels like an angel deal to me right now. An angel deal run. You know, I'm not gonna pay for the shovel just to have it. Is the shovel more interesting than the sprinkler? I gotta tell you, I don't think it is. The chance for black markets is okay. Apart from that, who cares about the shovel, dude? It's a bad teleporter. So we'll leverage ourselves at being able to make a deal with the devils into deals with the angel. Ideally, at least. Did you Aru when you entered this room? You gotta tell me if you Aru'd, okay? I talk so much that I don't... Anything... Ooh, there's an Aru here. Anything with an audio cue is gonna go right by me. Let's just be honest. Okay, the damage is at 9.86. I heard the Aru, I'm just trying to figure out... Yeah, it's probably to the left here. And that's the right, by the way, but I think it was a bomb for 5 cents, if possible. It's probably a bomb for like 3 cents expected value, because those don't pay out every time, but... I have to be honest, I actually think Little Baggy... It's still bad, but it's come up in my mental power rankings like 20 slots. So it's gone from like one of the bottom 10% of items in the game to it might just be considered low rank situational right now. If we can, that's why I haven't just completely ignored it. If we can get the PhD, I'll consider it useful. If we can find pills that are not horrible, we'll consider it useful, maybe. In all likelihood, we won't, you know, touch it as far as we can throw it, which is a sentence that I don't even understand. You know what I don't like about the expression, I trust you as far as I can throw you, is, you know, there's variables just in general you need to pay attention to there. If you're a small person, or I suppose an aerodynamic person, you'd be easier to throw a greater distance. Also, I wasn't aware that trust was like it was a scalar value, or a directional value, I should say. I don't know, if you trusted someone a lot, do you trust them 1 kilometer? Do you trust them 100 meters? I don't know. Sorry, I shouldn't be using this filthy metric talk. I swear, don't take this as being too, you know, negative towards America. But every time I say 1 kilometer, a large southern man with a thick-brimmed hat appears in my Twitch chat, and he says, 1 kilometer? Where are you from? I do declare, I've never heard of such a measure as 1 kilometer. Okay, you know what? It's like 0.6 miles. Does that make you feel better? 60% of a mile? Is that the measurement you're looking for? It would take you less than 10 minutes to kilometer-proof yourself for life and understand how far it is for the rest of your existence. But sure, I'll work around you. Snowflake? Anyway. I like ironically calling people snowflakes. It's such an insulting term. I think I have to start working it in to innocuous situations. Like just when you're ordering food at the deli. Yeah, I'll take a Reuben sandwich, snowflake. How long do you think it would take for you to get punched in the face? I'm going to say under 1 day if every person you interacted with, you called them a snowflake out of the blue. Some stranger's going to take enough of your BS and just be like, nah, I'm not going to do that. Okay. Angel deal. Hopefully with a speed upgrade. I gotta be honest, just before I said that, I was about to be like, I can't think of a single speed upgrade that can come from an angel room. I'm wrong. You gotta count the halo. Gives you at least a little boost. This run going just fine. Right around schedule. Plenty of consumables, and I gotta say, I'm sorry, little baggy, there was no opportunity for you to be useful. This is a great opportunity for us to find an arcade. Have I suggested that the arcade might be useful yet? I can't remember. Oh, there's a little tiny bomb. Did you see that? Secret room? It must be here then. Weird. I would never have looked. And this is a regular secret room. I would have looked at the end of the floor maybe, but certainly not any earlier than that. See, we wouldn't have gotten these wonderful cards if we'd taken Little Baggy. Well, it's a waste. Nah. Being honest, I think it is worth our investment here to see if we can get something out of this guy. The worst case scenario is he pays out with something... Well, I mean, I guess he has some useless items, but... HP is pretty much the worst case scenario, and it's still pretty good. Worst case scenario is not always bad, you know? You get a cake for your birthday. What's the worst case scenario? You get a cake that's not that delicious. I always feel like there's like a little asterisk, you know? It's really, what's the worst case scenario within reason? Because the worst case scenario would be you bite into the cake and you explode. Second worst case scenario, me bite into it, I've poisoned the cake. You know, there's any number of incredibly unlikely but truly terrifying situations that could result from any innocuous sort of place that you're at in your life. When I was a kid, and I went to the movie theater, this is a real story. It embarrasses me to tell it to this day. But it gives you, like, I'm not that anxious of a person in adulthood, but I do get anxious on occasion. As a kid, though, I was just, like, moronic about it. And it's irrational, but still. Like, when I went to the movie theater, I always thought that the screen would fall down and crush me. Doesn't even make any sense. Like, the screen is a wall, and the world is a vampire. Like, how is it gonna crush me? We'd have bigger problems. It wouldn't be the screen, really. It'd be more worried about, like, the building collapsing, I guess. Moreover, has that ever happened in the history of planet Earth? It wouldn't surprise me if there's like one recorded instance, but I mean, come on. What I should have been paranoid about was choking on some popcorn. Because that's probably, I imagine choking on movie theater popcorn probably kills like one person every 5 years. I don't know how to Google that specifically. You know, TV really trained me to believe that there was going to be a lot more situations where you'd, like, be in a fancy restaurant and then someone at the next table over would, we don't need this, you fool, would start choking, and then you would perform the Heimlich maneuver on them, and probably you would be on a first date or something like that, and after saving the person's life, you would have demonstrated, oh yeah, this guy he's a good guy. He also knows the Heimlich maneuver, caused the other dude to spit out his oyster across the room into some rich lady's champagne flute, but still. I have never in my life been around the person who was actually choking, which is good. I mean, I imagine it's very stressful. I had a fear of choking when I was a kid. I think it's like a semi-common fear. Used to chew my food like 500 times. This went on for 6 months or so. Not 500 times, you know what I mean. Until it was like basically mush. It went on for like 6 months or so. My parents were like, dude, you're being a weirdo. Like, stop being a weirdo. People are gonna make fun of you. And I said, you know what, bro, you're right. And I just took a big gulp. Got over it one swallow at a time. This is just the tales of the hardship of my life. Being scared of movie theaters and boneless chicken tenders getting stuck in my throat somehow. So I'm really happy with the wafer. I'm really unhappy with the fact that no arcades exist on this entire run. Speed is sorted though, excuse me. We're like exactly on pace for boss rush yet again. Which is good. But usually, if we're on pace for boss rush, it means we probably don't want to do it. Oh, okay. I was going to say we should take PhD. We probably should have. I don't think we need that. We'll going to go for an item instead. That could be a Joker card, and maybe that would be worth something. I don't know. Like, Pandora's box is not useful right now. You gotta be honest. Blank card, more interesting than anything else in this whole freaking room. Now, once every 4 rooms, we got incredible invincibility. I love it. Much more likely to do boss rush now. Blank card Empress, blank card Ace of Clubs. Nah. So it's a bit of a slow run, but it's a very, very strong run nonetheless. Like, there's not a whole heck of a lot holding us back today. The odds of death seem impossibly small. Now, that is a situation where, if you're smarter than me, I think you can figure out what you would do in that situation immediately. What you definitely do not do is take damage. What you definitely do is hit the space bar and use your renewable invincibility so that you don't find yourself just eating it for no discernible reason. Do we have tarot cloth? Dude, how long? Algis was lasting forever there. I'm being honest, though. Those are my fears as a child. As an adult, what are my fears? Well, you know, they're more real now, which makes them a lot less fun to talk about. You know, the fear of a not accidentally, but unknowingly having, you know, some kind of terrible illness. And, you know, every cough or ache and pain that you have could be the emergence of something that will eventually end your life or compromise your good health. The widening debt-to-income ratio facing my generation, potentially leading to, you know, regional economic bubble. Should be the first one I've ever experienced as an adult that was not in school. I don't know. I don't know if anybody else is in this boat, but like when the recession happened in 2008-ish, 2008, 2009, I guess. I didn't understand it. I was like, okay, so the stock market went down. Why is everybody losing their jobs? Like, in my head, I understand that, you know, when a company loses $10 billion in market cap on the New York Stock Exchange, that means heads are rolling. But there's like one step disconnected in my head. It's like step 1, stock price tanks. Step 2, question mark, question mark, question mark. Step 3, a lot of people losing their jobs and nobody's buying, you know, bananas anymore. I'm missing the interim step. To be honest, I think I'm gonna gamble quite prodigiously here. I would like to get the blood bag. I'm gonna take you to the blood bag, Senator Trent. Wait, that's not how it goes. I'm gonna take you to the bank, Senator Trent. The blood bank. It's a Steven Seagal quote. Nah. That's a good. I haven't brought that one back. There's so many dead Isaac memes. Gonna take you to the bank, Senator Trent, to the blood bank. There's the situation at the roast of Donald Trump saying, plus I gotta hand it to you. Your wife is hot. Plus, she married you for love. She loves money. And totally bombing. It's one of my all-time favorite, I'm gonna add this to my cringe collection clips. We're sincerely like one item away from just blowing this thing wide open. On... What is it, boy? There's a black market? Where? Where is it? It's there! Yeah, sure, a red question mark is probably worth 3 bombs, unless it isn't. It wasn't. That's a little unfortunate. Sure, we could have doubled up on our keys again and gotten to 60. I'm just gonna be straight with you, we don't need 60 keys. I would rather save it for Algis plays. And I'm gonna be honest with you in a way that is gonna make you be mad at me a little bit, but just a little bit. This is almost my least favorite kind of Isaac run. We're just slightly, like, below the curve of absurd damage. If we could just get a little bit stronger... Hey, that's helpful. If we could just get a little bit stronger, I would love it. Because let's face it, we're not gonna die. Not with blank card, Algis. You know, we got enough sacks to give us battery charges. We're gonna be invincible for like 99% of the run. Maybe not 99%. And that's, you know what? Already. I'm dumping Algis to take Onsus. I don't want to rush through the run, but I also, you know, there's no reason why I run with nearly double-digit damage. Should be mired in obscurity down here, way slower than boss rush. It's just, you know, it's a shame. It's a travesty. It's an embarrassment. Don't ruin your deal with the angel chance. You got such a good setup here. Ludovico. Alright, so this run got weird. And it got weird pretty quickly. School bag. I had to think about what school bag was, because that's not what I call it in this household. You got to imagine that our boss fight's probably over here. And assuming that is the case, we will not use Onsus yet. What did I tell you? It's because I play all these seeds in advance to make sure they're good runs. That used to be a conspiracy for a little while. Not one of the more widely held conspiracies. You know, they've never really taken root in this community to an enormous degree, which I'm very thankful for. But for a little while, there were people that were like, NL doesn't even play Isaac. He just pays somebody to play for him and commentates over top. And it's like most conspiracy theories, it makes no friggin' sense at all. You're like, yeah, you know, the fun part of my job, playing video games and talking over it, I outsource that to somebody who's still not even really that good. And then I just do exactly the same amount of work, but with the most fun part of it removed for reasons that don't really make any sense. That was a good one. I've heard it levied against other YouTubers. PewDiePie, when he was playing Dark Souls 2. It makes a little bit more plausible sense because he does edited videos. That's the only way I can see it, is that it's, you know... I'm not saying that he did. I'm quite the opposite. I'm saying that it would be ridiculous to make that assumption, but... I guess if you're doing edited videos, you might save a little bit of work doing the game time in the first place. But apart from that, like... Again, that's like, hey, Jimmy Johnson doesn't even drive his car during the NASCAR races. He's just in the industry for the paperwork. You know, it's just, you're giving somebody else the fruits of thine own labor. Doesn't make any dang sense. Plus, that was back, it's a different era, you know, it was back, Dark Souls 2 came out in 2014, I think. That was back when everybody still thought Dark Souls was hard, before we all realized that actually it's very easy. All you do is put on Havel's armor and mash R1. No problem whatsoever. Okay. Why are we getting so many pills? I gotta sneeze, too. I told you I had to sneeze, and you didn't believe me. I'm opening red chest. I was just about to launch into a bit. I don't want to go off on a rant here, but... Anybody else think that finding the last 2 out of 3 Guppy items is like trying to name all the amendments of the Constitution? It's like we all know Guppy's head, but where's the tail? I can't even make like a plausible Dennis Miller joke. I'm gonna have to watch Joe Dirt again, remind myself. Okay. 31. Help me. 31 keys is what I was gonna say. I wasn't just uttering numbers like I'm, you know, some kind of transmission station in the telefilm known as Lost. I wish you weren't here. You know, you think that's ever happened to Pink Floyd? That'd be a sick burn. You know, if somebody, they were being a jerk to you at a concert. Hey, Pink Floyd, more like Dink Floyd. And you're like, you know what, buddy? I wish you weren't here. That was, it's just a savage tongue lashing. Don't take that out of context. I'm learning to say a lot of things over the course of the average hour that if you took out of context would look relatively bad. I laugh at equality was definitely a bad one. That being taken out of context was intentionally humorous, but simultaneously also, like, you know, that's a bad one. I was laughing at equality the trinket. And I specifically said, don't take this out of context. Yo. Oh, holy line. Could you please work faster? I'd like to have a chance to fight the hush. Yo. Thank you. Finally. Dude, we've gotten so lucky on these rolls. That's insanely useful. I hate that I had Leo for this room. Crown of Light, though, is disgustingly good. Sincerely, we could not have gotten much luckier. Yeah, this is cool. Plus, we got like a sweet little Tesseract as our tier. Who doesn't like a Tesseract? Can't make the joke that I wanted to make because of spoilers. You guys ever, instead of reading books, just read the synopsis for the entire series on Wikipedia? I was reading about a book last night. It was a... If you're not familiar with what the Hugo Award is, it goes to, you know, as voted on by writers, the best science fiction stories of a given year. I was reading about this story from a Chinese author called The Three Body Problem. It's a really, really cool concept, you know? I mean, it won the Hugo Award that year, but... oh, didn't you hear? It won the Hugo. For science fiction, that's the one. The Hugo Weaving, I believe it's... Anyway. We're good. So what happens is, like, you know, is a jaded astrophysicist. She receives a message from outer space, and the message says, hey, don't reply to this message. I'm being chased by aliens, and they're real jerks. If you reply to this message, they're going to know where your planet is, and they're going to come get you. And she doesn't like humanity, so she says, whatever, maybe they can sort out our problems. Then, they receive a message from the other aliens, like the vengeful ones. And the vengeful aliens are like, y'all, we're coming to get you. But we haven't invented faster than light travel. We travel at 1/100th the speed of light. It's going to take us 400 years to get there. And I was like, dude, that's a really cool premise for a sci-fi novel. You know, how does society function when in the back of your mind, you're like, we got 400 years to prepare before an invasion that's really gonna, you know, mess us up. And then I was reading about the future of those books, and, you know, if you're reading them right now and you don't want to be spoiled, there's some spoilers, but, you know, there's like 11-dimensional computers, and oh, they send a bomb after the Earth that collapses all 3D space into 2D space. So we got to put a scientist in a special ship so they can explore 2D space. And I was like, you stop drilling. You hit oil. That, I mean, I haven't read it, so I'm being pretty condescending right now. But you kind of hit oil with that first one. You went too far. You pulled a Wachowski. You know, everybody loved the first one that raised all these interesting questions. And then when you had to answer them, you were like... You know, it's harder, I guess. And that's the thing, like, so many media properties do a great job of raising questions, but, you know, answering mysteries, solving them, I should say, is a lot harder in a satisfying way. Lost, you know, Prometheus was terrible at it. Blank card Perth? Dude, I want Ansus. This run is bizarrely low pace right now. It's a lot harder to wrap things up than it is to ask a question. Here's how you ask a question. Is you, and again, a little hypocritical, considering I've never written, like, a sci-fi mystery my whole life. But the MO seems to be like, hey, put something mysterious in the world. Like, perhaps a radio antenna. But there's no human beings around at all. There's never been human beings on this planet, or this space station, or this moon. Whoa, isn't that weird? Oh, hey, we found a bas relief. Is that how it's pronounced? It's not a relief of a fish, but a bas relief of, like, what appears to be a half-human, half-alien face buried in the sand on the beach. Let that linger for 45 minutes, and then you answer it, and you're like, oh, yeah, somebody did a genetic experiment. Yeah, it's, like, not that exciting to answer it at the end, unfortunately. Most of the time. It's hard. It's hard for a movie like that to deliver. Or a show, I guess. Especially a show, because, like, I have not seen all of Lost, but I was, you know, I read a lot of the internet, quote unquote, during its, ooh, I love it. During its, like, primo popularity. And it was like, you know, a mystery would come up in season 3, and they wouldn't resolve it until season 5. It's like over 2 years sometimes, especially with the writer's strike, of people theorizing stuff. They'll be like, I bet this happens and this happens. Oh, but maybe it's the number station is, oh, but they got sent back in time. Oh, but a parallel universe. But, oh, they've been dead the whole time. Oh, but they're still on the plane. They're all just asleep. And, but, you know, you get the idea. You've been theorizing for so long, and everybody goes, oh, plausible theory. That sounds cool. That sounds cool. And then at the end, you know, Damon Lindelof is like, it's magic. People go, it's magic. No. That's not part of the theory that I've been thinking of for the last 2.5 years, Damon. I'm sorry to tell you, that's an unsatisfying resolution of the problem. I sympathize with that. Because any show, and, you know, Game of Thrones has got the same thing going on, and it's starting to crumble. You know, I mean, not recently, because there hasn't been a season in a year, but, like, it's starting to get to the point where, you know, they got like 8 episodes of the show left. They got to resolve all these conspiracies. They're not conspiracies, but mysteries. And some of them have basically just gotten started. Some of them are like, you know, the Game of Thrones, if you haven't seen it, has been airing since 2011. I guess we'll just go fight Mega Satan. Like, we're stacked. It's been airing since 2011. There were scenes in Season 7 where they flash back to something that happened in Season 1, when you were but a glimmer in your father's eye. And then they're like, hey, remember the guy who sold Ned Stark the loaf of bread in Episode 4? And you're like, no. And they're like, oh, he's the freaking... And these are fake spoilers, okay? And I know people say fake spoilers are they're real spoilers. Well, they're not, though, because, like, I don't even think there's anybody who sells Ned Stark bread. And you're, oh, spoilers! I was waiting for the pivotal Ned Stark bread scene. Anyway. Will he get rye, or will he get whole grain? You know, they do flashbacks to, like, these inconsequential-ish moments from earlier seasons. And they go like, hey, remember that moment where you were, like, barely paying attention? It was Episode 4 of Season 2. You were probably, like, mid-nap in your marathon when it came on. Yeah, that guy's, he's God now. He's the God of this universe. You're like, what? I gotta go to the Game of Thrones wiki. I don't even remember this guy's name. And inevitably, it's 3-syllable, 2-syllable. Mortimer Cronkley. Oh, you don't know who Mortimer Cronkley is? The third Reeve of the Dunedin region of King's Landing? The most pivotal character in the whole franchise? Dude, I wish I had not lost Dark Crown, which is actually... I've forgotten the name. What is the blue crown called? Crown of Light, yeah. It's not making it bad, it's just making it a little bit on the slow side. Either way, this one was pretty, like, set start to finish. We had no problems. Pretty much never dipped to a level of HP that was even mildly dangerous, which in turn, I have to level with you, I think makes the next run more dangerous, because we're, you know, we're going to get Isaac Whiplash from starting out so strong, and then on our next run, who knows what's going to happen. You know, the whole world could crumble out from underneath our feet. Still, I'll take any free win. And not even an opportunity to go to the void. Oh no. Hey, thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button. It helps a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.